Okay, enough of that joke. I'm not gonna make you suffer through that. I don't want to do it anymore. Bee-Bender is here. Let's check out the quests.
There you are, Fry. Have you fetched those hexagons I haven't yet asked you for yet?
Sorry, sir. I meant to, but wait, what hexagons?
My research, or rather guesswork, suggests the hypno waves can be contained in a planar lattice of regular hexagons.
What?
Stop asking difficult questions, or I'll make up more technobabble.
And then he sends us off on a little quest. And 1 minute later...
Good news, everyone! You're off to the space beehive to steal their honeycomb.
But aren't the space bees dangerous? Also, why?
Very dangerous, and because the honeycomb consists of perfectly regular hexagons. You see, my research suggests hypno waves.
Alright already, I'm going. Stop boring me. The professor wants us to steal some hexagons from the space beehive.
No way. Last time we visited a space beehive, I almost died.
No, you didn't. Leela was the one who was in a coma for 2 weeks.
We remember things differently. It's a lot like Rashomon. Most of my life is.
Alright, so this event is gonna feel real familiar if you went through the previous weekendy events. It has a lot in common with both Pimperoo and the Decay event, but there's a few subtle differences, some of which I think are improvements, and some may be trying to catch you off guard in new and subtle ways. Here's the rundown. Step 1 is, per usual, running some space missions. Now, the first thing you'll notice is that this map is huge. It's a giant, sprawling spiderweb with a lot of branching paths. If you have the energy to get through 100% of it though, there's a super tasty 20 pizzas waiting for you rather than the usual 5. The second mission will actually give you a full 10. A little extra incentive to wander into the hardest path at least once. Although, I think part of the main difference you'll notice is the pollen you have to collect is mostly going to be along these paths. I actually went ahead and did the top path, so that pollen's already gone, and you notice it is gone already entirely, and there's not enough pollen here to actually get everything that you need just off of the map, and the drop rate on the bees seems a little lower, especially with the lower leveled bees. So if you can get your characters up high enough to take these harder paths, hopefully those bees actually do a higher drop rate. I'm gonna do a quick test.
Already taken care of.
Alright, so they do seem to drop pollen more frequently on the, because I took the top one and there would be like maybe 1 pollen every other fight. Normally I'm all about taking the least efficient paths, but it seems like they definitely didn't want you doing that in this event.
Time heals all wounds. Hey, looky here.
And notice I didn't get any pollen in that fight. And I just took the path that had way harder fights in it. So, it may be a little tight on this one, you guys. And it might be good to save up your big AoE attacks for some of these where there's a whole bunch of bees. Oh, there we go. So, taking the hardest path, I actually got 41 plus 5, 46 pollen just for taking that path. That's the hardest one possible, but I picked up most of those as a first-time bonus. Eventually, you're gonna need 250 pollen total in order to get the Bee-Bender costume. It seems like a lot, but do remember we do have a lot of time here, and often when things seem dire at the beginning, there are gonna be 4 days, so don't panic. Pace yourself picking up the pollen, or your allergies may really start overreacting in here. Notably, if you're struggling, you can actually buy pollen outright for pizza. I don't recommend it, especially not here in the first couple of days, unless you're just really falling far behind and you're just really excited about that Bender costume. You should be able to run a mission almost every 3 hours whenever your guys are done farming, so it should be a pretty easy cycle to get going. Once you got your pollen, you'll be sending your characters off on honey making quests. Rather than letting you use anybody of a class type to grind like in Pimperoo, there's 6 specific characters who can help with this class.
Oh, snap.
Fry, Farnsworth,
That never occurred to me.
Amy,
Get to the point.
Bender, Kiff, and Earl, actually, who is our furthest along character for you to potentially have. But don't worry, you don't need him. Each task requires 5 pollen, takes 3 hours, and it guaranteed does always drop exactly 1 honey. You'll need to get 50 of them total by 3 p.m. on Tuesday, August 1st in order to lock in a bee bender. So how hard is this actually going to be to accomplish? Interestingly, the resource gathering is definitely the kicker here, as opposed to all the other events where that was almost entirely negligible. The lizards and the Star Trek tapes were both crazy easy to get. Now, looking at the math for turning that pollen into honey, it's actually pretty balanced and fair even if you're just starting out. If we look at this from the perspective of someone who literally just started playing the game, 4 out of the 6 characters are available within about the first day or so of starting the game, Bender maybe being the only tricky one of those starters. With 4 characters, you'd have to send them out 13 times to collect honey, with the last time only requiring about 2 of your characters. At 3 hours each, that means it'll take you 39 hours of questing to unlock him. It's a 4-day event, and hopefully you've already had time to send them out a handful of times. It's better not to delay too long, but the questing time required is less than half the time of the total event, so you're not gonna have to stay up all night micromanaging the tasks or anything. You could probably even start a day late and still grab him, but if you don't have Kiff or Earl, be sure to hop on it right now.
What?
If you only have Kiff, but not Earl, because maybe you're just halfway through the Central Park District, not a big deal. You're still in a really great position. This is actually, I think, the easiest to do the math for. With 5 characters at your disposal, you only have to take 10 trips, meaning you can get the bee in about 30 hours of gameplay if you have all 5 running every trip.
Let's just go pepper spray some homeless families.
If you have Earl as well, he actually only provides a tiny advantage, surprisingly. You'll still have to take 9 trips. The last trip will just only need 2 characters. So even if you have every character in the game, it'll still take you at least 27 hours to clear this event without rushing anything. And again, changing the pollen into honey doesn't seem to be the difficult part of this event. The extra manpower doesn't seem to help that much. The biggest roadblock is going to be, can you grind that mission path enough to get 250 pollen really quickly? That seems pretty nice to me. New players aren't blocked out at all, and veteran players get an advantage that feels nice but isn't game-breaking. It should be relatively easy for most of us, so hopefully everybody can pick him up without losing so much sleep that you start seeing multicolored kaleidoscopic space hallucinations brought on by toxic bee stings. Oh yeah, there's also a side event that's also going on. The map is basically a direct clone of the career chip event from just a few days ago. And it actually has class-specific Terra and Peta chips for the first time ever. So that's neat to see. If you were able to clear everything in the previous event, you can clear this one exactly as easily. You just need an influencer to guide you through rather than a robot. Just something else to chew on to keep you busy with your spaceship fuel, and ideally to help you level up Bee Bender. If you're far enough ahead that this event is a breeze, there's more stuff to do, but this is optional. Don't worry too much about it. Goal here, I think, is to help us level Bee Bender quickly, but again, I think Nixon bucks are gonna be the bottleneck here, not the chips. So this is a thing for fun. And of course, there's another 5 pizza to pick up, so if you're free to play and pretty far along, having 35 total pizza that you can scoop up just for clearing out the missions is not too shabby. So the only complaint I think I have at this point is just the sheer quantity of Bender that we already have. At this point, there are 24 different characters or costumes currently in game to level up, and with this event, 5 of them are Bender. What's worse is now 2 of these costumes are wholly redundant. Burglar Bender is a robot the exact same as regular Bender, and we already have Golden Bender as an influencer, of which B is just another version of that. You can't use both of them at once, and they level up separately, so his addition doesn't feel terribly meaningful. That could be kind of a problem where enthusiasm for this event is concerned. He's a neat cosmetic addition, and he's totally free with just a little hoop jumping, but if you miss him, you miss absolutely no advantages to your gameplay. Golden Bender's got your back and is probably already fulfilling that role for some of you. So between heavy recycling of event mechanics and a character who feels a little out of place. Seriously, where are Bill Nye and Stephen Hawking? I know they're coming, Tiny Co. Where are they? Plus the fact that this event kinda snuck up on us. It showed up a few hours later than expected, and a lot of people got caught off guard when they were expecting it to drop at 3, and we didn't really get any information as to what was coming or when or how. It really has me wondering, what do they have in store for us? And was this really the big next thing? What do you guys think of this event? Is B-Bender an outfit you're excited about? Or is all this honey just a bunch of sticky, sweet filler? What's coming next? At this point, I feel like they're just throwing out things that I don't expect to make me look silly, so I'm gonna stop making predictions altogether, but that doesn't mean you can't. Sound off in the comments, and until then...